So the other day I did a video where I told you why I was a little bit worried about the Xbox Scorpio and what I've been hearing so far. And it basically boiled down to the fact that Microsoft has been advertising this as your true 4K gaming console. It can deliver true native 4K gaming. And that's great and all, but my problem with it is that the vast majority of gamers right now simply don't care about 4K gaming. And I mean, 4K gaming has been available for a while now on the PC, and yet 95% of PC gamers still play on a resolution at or below 1080p. And so I said I didn't want a system that caters only to this 4K crowd, and you're shooting yourself in the foot if you do roll out a system and that's your focus and you give up focus on the rest of the 90% of the population. So fortunately, it looks like 4K will not be mandatory. This is a 4K gaming machine, but it doesn't mean that all games apparently will be in 4K. Phil Spencer was asked on Twitter if 4K was mandatory or if devs can go with whatever they want to. Say add extra graphics, do 1080p 60 frames per second and upscale that to 4K. And Phil responded with, "We'll talk more about this later, but we never said we'd mandate 4K frame buffer. We won't. And nor should they. No doubt it's going to be a much more powerful machine than the original Xbox, and devs should have the freedom to use that power however they want. I've never known any system, maybe there has been in the past, but I've never known any system that says that this has to be this certain way. And so with that much power, you could have some really great looking games and graphics with solid high frame rates. And I'd much rather have that upscaled to 4K than to be stuck at 30 frames per second, because to me, frames are king over resolution. And I really do think it should be like PC, or even how they did like The Last of Us, the remaster for that, how they gave gamers the options. So if you want, like if you really feel that 30 frames per second gives you a more cinematic experience, then you have the choice to go for that. But for everybody else, for all the rest of us, we want smooth 60 frames per second. And to me, that matters a lot more than the resolution. In another story I had up on VGN today concerning the PlayStation 4 Neo and Xbox Scorpio, devs were asked what their opinions were on these new systems. And as I've alluded to in the past, most devs are actually excited for this. And they say that it's still going to be a whole lot less trouble, a lot less headaches than trying to troubleshoot tons of different configurations like they already have to do on the PC. Because PC, I mean, you got tons of different configurations, different motherboards, different GPUs, different CPUs. So you got a lot of different variables there. These consoles are still pretty much locked in place. So they know what they're working with and they can just scale the games. And I always laugh because there's always somebody like down in the comment section who's talking about, you know, devs are now going to have to rebuild this game for a brand new system and it's going to be terrible, you know, and all this. But it's like, I mean, have you seen PC settings? Like there's like sometimes 5 different settings. You got low, medium, better, best, ultra, max, or whatever. Do you really think the devs have to go build that many versions of the game? No, they just scale it. So the more power that they have, the more items they can tick on, and for the more capable machines, they can turn everything on. And so for a lot of these devs, not having to be constrained by the really weak hardware allows them to really put out their talent. It makes their lives easier and gives them more options and capabilities, and then they can just tone it down for less capable machines like it already happens on the PC. And it's sort of like giving, you know, a 5x7 card to Bob Ross and telling him to paint a masterpiece only using 6 colors. I mean, he could probably still do a pretty damn good job, but give that man a huge canvas and unlimited colors, and you're going to have something spectacular. Or I guess I should say you would have had something spectacular, or you did have something spectacular. I mean, since he's dead now, nobody's giving him anything, but hopefully you get the point. I mean, these are artists, and now you're giving them a much greater palette to work with. More power helps devs. Now, whether or not that's going to be worth it to you, however, is an entirely different question. So, does Phil's recent statements make you feel better knowing that 4K won't be mandatory on the Scorpio? And if you want to read these stories and more, be sure you check out videogamesandnews.com. And as always, links down below with these stories. That does it for me, the Red Dragon. I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.
Are you listening? Damn. Yeah.